Wait, why is no one else celebrating with me? I've been a vegan for 5 years today. No one cares? Oh, I guess I'm alone in my principles. There you go. So that's how I feel. That is true. Today is 5 years that I've been a manly vegan. And ultimately what I've perceived over the years is no one really cares. Nobody cares either way. It's funny because it's not something to be celebrated. You know, I'm making this video, no one's gonna watch it. I'm gonna put this in a blog post in which no one will read. People don't care if you're a vegan and it's working for you, you know? And I didn't become a vegan for animal rights issues. I became a vegan because I had dyshidrotic eczema all over my hands. And, you know, there was no medical cure for that. I had constant sinusitis. I was allergic to pets. Those things all went away after I became a vegan. I once was blind, but now I see. And no one cares. No one cares. So I accept the fact that most people would rather put their faith in big pharma, in medicines, and hoping that we can find a cure medically for this. And unless there's a medical cure for it, I would never, Nick, and here's what it comes from. It's like, you know, Nick, I respect, you know, that you did, it worked for you, Nick, but I could never become a vegan. You know, when I hear that, here's what I think, two things. Well, first of all, I don't want or need anyone to become a vegan. It's not my interest at all to change the minds of anyone and to become like me. Who am I? I'm not great. I'm not awesome. You don't need to become like me. But as a messenger who's been healed of such things, obviously I'm always wanting to help other people find cures and of body elements. And man, to have dyshidrotic eczema on your hands, like all those blisters and itching and all that was going on, I was almost at the point I couldn't type anymore on a keyboard. And it was depressing. Not to mention 2 decades of not being able to breathe out of one side of my nose due to all the sinus pressure in there. And it all went away when I became a vegan. But I think most people would rather try to find some kind of lotion for their hands. They'd rather use nasal spray and deal with all of that and pet allergies. And that's what they would rather do because that seems less extreme than giving up eggs and meat, dairy. People say I could never do that. Well, what's funny is of all people, trust me, I used to say the same thing, of course. I want to portray myself as the epitome of a guy who could never eat enough meat in whatever I was eating. I mean, I was the kid when I was 10 years old, I was eating like, what is it, the double Whopper at Burger King and finishing it and the fries and the soda. Like a steak, I'll eat the whole thing. That was always me. And it wasn't until I realized, wait, I've got these health issues. There's no medical cure for them. Either I keep putting my faith in a system that's not working for me or I find a new way. And so I did, and it's been working for 5 years. Now, I do have to remind everyone that I, even just 2 months ago, was an overweight vegan. And it took me a month to lose the weight, and then I've still been kind of slimming back down to where I was. It's funny to all the people who say, but how do you get enough protein? And I'm thinking, that's not the problem I've dealt with. I've dealt with the problem of having too much protein and having to slim myself down because I was literally overweight. My BMI was an overweight BMI, and I've covered that before on my channel, and I've showed you how that worked. But yeah, I mean, vegetables, fruits, beans, grains, nuts, seeds. There's the 6 foods group. That's how I became an overweight vegan. And by default, that's how I'm getting enough protein. But I think the reason I really want to make this video is in case anyone's watching, I'm expecting like 13 views and like 2 thumbs down. If I get anything beyond that, I'll be amazed. But the reason I'm making this video is just to encourage anyone out there who's thinking about it, who's considering it. Is it even possible? Look at me. A guy who has been a vegan for 5 years as of today. A guy who actually ended up becoming overweight in the process. That's how easy it is to access vegan food. Of course, there's a lot more processed vegan food now that you can get your hands on, like vegan ice cream, etc. That you couldn't get 5 years ago when I first started this journey. Now it's everywhere, and it's easy to get too many calories. So I'm a vegan, been a vegan for 5 years. My health problems are still gone. I cured dyshidrotic eczema, nobody cares. I cured constant sinusitis and air pressure in my nose, nobody cared. I cured being allergic to animals. Nobody cares. I've been a vegan for 5 years today. Nobody cares. Instead, people react in that I could never do that, or they think that I'm trying to convert them. I truly am alone in my principles, but I'm okay with that. And I think that's part of the identity of being a vegan, is you have to be okay with knowing you found this hidden gem that's made your life better. And when you try to, if anyone even finds out about it, no one appreciates it. I mean, sure, at first when I became a vegan, I was very vocal about it. And now, like about 6 months into it, I learned, no, just don't talk about it. Just, unless someone else finds out about it and asks you questions and bring it up, then very calmly just mention a little bit and then back away. Because it's information that most people don't appreciate, they don't want to know. And here, I mean, I would love to think that people care that I've been a vegan for 5 years, but no one cares. I would like to think that as being part of the 6% of the population that is vegan in America, and of course even a very small sliver of that is actually men, I would like to think that I'm special, that I'm this manly vegan. I'm married, I got kids, I really, really, really want a Jeep Wrangler. You know, all these things. And oh, that's a paradox, because that's not what I thought of when a vegan. Aren't you gonna hit me over the head about animal rights? No, I mean, I'll tell you that I used to have all these health problems and now I don't, and I've sustained this for 5 years and even had to lose weight in the process. But no, that's all there is to it. The point of this video is, I've proven that I've gotten enough protein. I've proven that I've cured these health problems. 5 years being a vegan, and the point is, no one cares. And I have to be okay with the fact that no one cares that I'm the manliest vegan on the internet.